Manchester United's potential takeover from the Glazers will likely break sporting records and have significant ramifications beyond Old Trafford. Takeovers of major football clubs are becoming more of public interest. The bidding process playing out with regular reporting since the Chelsea takeover by the Todd Boehly and Clearlake consortium in 2022. Here, we take a look at how these sales come to fruition, the stages and complications that are involved, what does it look like, how does it impact those working at the clubs involved, and how do the sports governing bodies approve or reject potential sales. Welcome to Curiously Sport, and this is the anatomy of a football club sale.
Well, it's not too different from taking over a business. As the owner, there may be specific reasons as to why you'd want to sell. For a club like Chelsea, their hands were pretty much forced with the sanctions imposed on their former owner, Roman Abramovich. But as for the Glazer family, their intentions to sell may be closer to Mike Ashley's from Newcastle. A toxic relationship with the fans has played a large part in both parties passing on their investment. You can either decide on a share purchase or an asset purchase. A share purchase involves the buyer acquiring the shares in the company, normally the entire issue share capital from the company's shareholders. An asset purchase involves the buyer acquiring select assets and rights and sometimes assuming responsibility for certain liabilities relating to the target business. As a buyer, you must look at things from a legal and financial standpoint. Before contacting the clubs, the general consensus would be to seek financial advice, maybe even form a consortium just as Chelsea's current owners have done. Once the buyer is ready, they'll have that initial contact with the club. In contacting the owners, you put an indicative offer in a letter of intent, explaining who you are, the value you're placing on the club, why you're looking to buy this club, and what the next steps are.
At the very top level, as seen with both Chelsea and Man United over the past 12 months, the potential for ownership is only available to a select few of the very richest in the world, given we are talking about billions being exchanged. Though as we saw broken down in two excellent football documentaries, Sunderland Till I Die and Welcome to Wrexham, the money is down to millions, but still brings its complications. In the case of Wrexham, the potential owners Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney had to convince the supporters board to vote for their takeover, given the fractious history of the club that had seen previously bad ownership threaten the future of it. In a lot of cases, we are now seeing the increased growth of consortiums in order to finance some of the biggest sales, as was seen led by the successful Todd Boehly group that included Swiss billionaire Hans-Burg Weiss, Mark Walter, co-founder and CEO of Guggenheim Capital, whilst Clearlake Capital came in to provide the majority of the funding to get the bid over the line. The likes of Roman Abramovich being the single rich entity to take over a major club feels more and more like an anomaly when looking at PIF's takeover of Newcastle in 2021.
With a football club comes interest from all directions. A number of parties can register their interest, but let's face it, money talks. Like Roman Abramovich did for Chelsea, the owner of the club sets their asking price. It is down to the interested parties as to whether they'd meet this ask or not. A deadline will be set for all serious bids to be entered, and that's when we really see the list of real contenders. Last year, Chelsea received a number of bids meeting the £3 billion asking price before narrowing down their shortlist to the Ricketts family, Boehly and Wiss consortium, and Sir Martin Boughton and Lord Sebastian Coe. Manchester United's owners haven't been so lucky. Their initial asking price of £5 billion has not been met yet, despite having a lucrative pool of bidders to choose from. The front-running bidders from Qatar are not keen to reach the £5 billion asking price, but it looks like a negotiation of £4 billion could be on the table. Once all bids are in, the current owner chooses their preferred bidder and the process continues.
Once the favoured bidder is chosen, they are given what is called an exclusivity period in which to complete the takeover of the club. The Boehly and Clearlake consortium were given a 5-day period in May by Chelsea. If they failed to seal the deal in that period, other interested parties would come back into the picture, potentially getting to hijack the deal.
Now, you can't just shake hands and hand over the keys to your favourite bidder. No, it doesn't work like that. Otherwise, it'll be a bit too easy. The Premier League has to get involved to review the takeover as a whole. They will check proof of funds and carry out a fit and proper test too. Before now, there were just 7 things that disqualify prospective owners in an owners and directors test. having a 10% stake of another Premier League club, being banned as a company director, being jailed for a crime that was dishonest, and being declared bankrupt or previously being involved in a club where insolvency occurs, being banned by a sports body, breaching betting regulations, or being named on the sex offenders register. Now, clubs have worked together to ensure and prevent sports washing in the future. There are a number of new measures in place, including the introduction of an independent body to aid the assessments. There's also a new caveat that states a new disqualification event for human rights abuses based on Global Human Rights Sanctions Regulations 2020. That addition alone has stirred up some drama with Newcastle's brand new Saudi Arabian owners and could also create an upset in the Qataris' quest to buy Manchester United.
Once that part is completed, the deal can be finalised and the takeover can be complete. As we have seen with Chelsea, Newcastle and Wrexham, this usually precedes a wave of change structurally and in personnel as the new incumbents look to shape the club in their image. The buying and selling of a football club is a complex process, and it is still fair to scrutinise how strenuous the review process is at the highest level, but that will not prevent the excitement it can also bring to a set of supporters. And that's how your beloved football club can change hands forever.